we've got on here that I can show. This is his latest begging video. Now, they've, God knows, somehow managed to get council property, which is, after 11 weeks, is disgusting. There's people who wait 5 odd years. So, but if anybody hasn't seen it, I am going to play his little beg video for you for a minute so you can all see what he's like.
As you know, we haven't been on TikTok for a while. This past week in particular, we've actually been offered a forever home. But unfortunately, we've been screwed big time. Now, I know there's a lot of videos going around about what's been happening with scamming and so-called all this, that and the other, and begging for food and whatnot, and we've generally needed it. You know, only yesterday we had to go to a food bank again. But we've got a massive problem. So we've been given our forever home. And we've approached the council. We've approached social services. We've approached Universal Credit. We've also applied for a crisis and care award. And we've been rejected on everything. So the crisis and care, we applied twice as a reconsider, been rejected. We approached the council for help. They won't help us. We've approached social services. Apparently there's no money. They can't do it. We've approached everyone and everything. We've approached Universal Credit. They won't help us. We've approached various different other charities and organisations. No one will help us.
His excuses. What does make me laugh with this, though, is if they were that desperate, they would be accepted for some of this help. They will do an ingoings and outgoings check. So they sit there with you, they do a form that adds up all your ingoings, all your outgoings, and that does include food, clothing, and all that sort of thing. And if they deemed you've got enough left over, you will not qualify for help. So they've clearly done this with them and deemed they've got enough income left over in order to be able to get these things themselves, or they would have been eligible for it. Yeah, he's absolute full of shit. He really is. It's, you know, for the people that fall for it are clearly the people that haven't been in that situation, because the people that have, I've been there, and as I'm sure probably plenty of you in the room have been. Yeah, you apply for everything, and you know when you'll be entitled and when you won't, and clearly they're not entitled because they've got the money. So that's one of the main scams they've got going there, obviously, is we can't afford it, we haven't got this, we haven't got that. It is ridiculous. He claims they're moving into the property with nothing. Well, yeah, exactly, awareness. One of them has got the limited capability for work and work related. They've said that on their lives. Both of them being on Universal Credit, they will get a joint award, plus they get awards for the children as well. So the amount they're getting just from that alone, and he's admitted, you know, UC pay the rent in that place. They pay a certain small surcharge, £50 a month for the pets, because they to have the pets there. And then the rest of their bills, and a £6 a day surcharge. Now they've said themselves that £6 a day surcharge covers their gas and their electric and the water. So all their bills are covered. And that money does not take up everything they would have in benefits. Nowhere near. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, he won't have shopping bills, Susie. That's my point. Because they get other people to do it for them. That's what their wish lists are all about. They've currently got wish lists going, which I believe I have in my shared. If I have a little look, here we go.
I'm not being one bit funny, Natalie. There's a smell of social services off you. You look like Benefit Britain. You look like what in the 35p energy drink is going on. The cheek of you to talk about my lovely children and talk about my father and discriminate against me, calling me a jippo, when there's a look of hunger and hardship off you, with your two cheapskate eyebrows. It looks like you were dying with the hunger all your life.
Courtesy of awareness to protect you. Thank you, love.
No more, did you? Never looked back. You plague on society. Inbox me.
So this is their wish list. They've got school uniform and things on there as well. And Jareth, when he was questioned about that last night on his live, it did make me laugh. His excuse for school uniform being on there is that somebody came in their live the night before and actually asked them to put it on the wish list so that they could buy it for him. It's always somebody else's fault. Always somebody else's fault. Apparently he was told not to rent private at all by the housing officer. I was told not to. It's always somebody else. It's always somebody else's fault. Now they did have a GoFundMe set up by this lady here. This is Susan Mound. She's actually the partner or wife, as they call each other, of Wendy's mum. And she set up this GoFundMe for them. It has now been removed because we obviously outed the fact that, as she's put down in here, she was being in an abusive relationship. That's why she's left. Well, that's clearly lies. She was pulled on it and therefore removed the GoFundMe. But this was set up for Jareth and Wendy. It's been proven it was set up for them. But us as a group, we've managed to get that taken down. They do, however, have a PayPal FundMe, which they're trying to get £2,500 to kit out the entire house. I don't think I have the second half of that, so I can't show you the rest of it unless it's on mine. Bear with me. I'm not sure what I've uploaded or what I haven't. I'm actually showing you my backup account here. I've not actually got everything backed up onto this one just yet. But yeah. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, we don't need that. Let's turn the audio off. Right, this here, if I pause that for you. If everybody wants to have a little read of that, that is Wendy's PayPal FundMe. Oh, and look what I've just seen. Look who's just gone live. Hi, Jareth. Oh. Let's try that again. Do you think he knows we're doing it? Oh. One thing I really did want to play, just in case there's anybody in here who doesn't know Wendy and Jareth and haven't heard all of the evidence. I'd really, really like to play this video, which is Jareth himself confessing to the scamming. It goes on for a little bit of a while, and I can always stop that if it's going on too far. But he's tried to cover up the fact that he's done this by saying it was because they had, was because they had split up and he was annoyed at her. But he's gone into far too much detail in this confession for it to be lies. It's genuine. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a play for you now, guys.
To be fair, there's not much I can do. I mean, I'm in 40 grand in debt now, so I gotta try and fucking sort that out now. She's left me with fucking nothing. Literally rinsed me dry. So I gotta try and sort that out now. I mean, obviously, she literally she was like, "Oh, get this, get that." So obviously we went. So I don't know if you know, we went to Paynton, and we were meant to be there for 2 nights, and she basically booked 5. And as you can imagine, we were there for no money. So she was like, oh, we'll get loans out in your name. It's not a problem. I can't get anything, but we can get it out in your name. So she got all that. And obviously, I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if you still are aware. Do you know we went to Newquay? And obviously, I remember that you paid for those 2 nights to stay there. She paid for another 2 nights because her words were, Becky's paid for 2. I'll use that money to pay for another 2. So obviously, we had money saved up to go. And she was like, yeah, I'll just use that to pay for another 2 nights. So we actually stayed there for 4. And then she got screwed over because something came out of her bank, so she didn't have nothing. So she relied on me again. So I had to try and find some money. Yeah, I'm like 40 grand in debt now because of it all. I'm not saying it's all I thought it's not. But, you know, when she's booking extra time without me even like saying, yeah, okay, she was like, yeah, I've just booked 2 extra nights. You know, what am I supposed to do? Can't do fuck all. So yeah. Screwed me right over now. But yeah, I'm getting back on my feet. I got my job still, luckily, because I've been off for 3 months. My mental health's been really bad. So I've been off for 3 months. And I went back Friday. Didn't go yesterday because I felt really shit with the way that Wendy was speaking about me, and in fact now she's basically turned around and said, basically she's trying to use the child.
Annie, Annie? The account is I'm Max the Cat. If somebody wants to write that in for me, please, guys, I'd appreciate that.
Against me. One of her TikToks was like, well, at the end she was like, well, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for the baby. And I was like, wow, I'm getting help with my mental health and I'm taking medication, and you're doing nothing about yours. So yeah, that broke me. My heart sank. You know, my heart broke when she fucking said that on the TikTok. I can't explain to you how upsetting it was. It was like fucking, she just ripped my heart out. The thing is, she's still scamming people because, like, she's been saying for the past week, because I'm talking to Anna that was on the live as well just a second ago, and she's been saying she's got no gas and electric and stuff, but she's been saying to them she's on a meter and she's got no credit. She's not even on a meter. She's on quarterly and she doesn't pay her bill, and they can't cut her off because she's got 2 kids. She's been saying that she's got no Wi-Fi, but we paid the Wi-Fi before I left. So she's like, she needs apparently £60 for the Wi-Fi, and I'm like, well, no, you don't, because I paid it before I left, and your wife
says it all, really, doesn't it? I don't understand how anybody who can hear this can actually go and donate and not think they're scammers. He's sat there and said it. Oh, and it goes on for longer. As you can see, that's only even a third through the video. And I have no doubt either he's watching me or she is. That was another thing, because they were going, oh, we sat there and watched it. It was boring. They were invited to join. They were invited to join, and they're too cowardly to jump in a box and to talk and to explain themselves, because they've got no excuse for it. Now, some of the things I wanted to cover, obviously he made a lot of accusations last night and today, actually, regarding the previous landlord and the previous flat, of the mould issues, that he refused to put his hand in his pocket. He wouldn't pay out for the mould to be sorted, and that, you know, I'm lying about there not being mould. I clean at the end of every tenancy, so I cleaned that property after the last tenants left. There was not a single piece of mould then. I'm not saying there's not small bits of mould. Everybody gets small bits of mould around your windows, the odd occasion. We all do. There was nothing, absolutely nothing like that. And the windows were all covered over with tin foil, doors shut. Clearly nothing was ever open, so it's a no wonder that the mould was rife. But they never mentioned any mould issues to the landlord, because he would have mentioned something about it, because that is the leaseholder's problem. It's the leaseholder that deals with that. He pays a monthly fee to the leaseholder for the upkeep of the property, as do other landlords or flat owners in the building. Yes, there will be occasions when some things, all the landlords will have to come together and they will all have to pay. And he said this afternoon, that to replace the cladding and all that for the mould, all the landlords have to pay in on it, and he refuses to. Well, he can't refuse to, It's in his, those things are in a contract. If he'd refused to put his money in with the other landlords and pay, he would no longer own the flat that can be taken away for breach of contract. So the fact that he's still got it kind of says it all in itself, that he's clearly not refusing to pay out. He wouldn't keep it. Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know how many of you would have been watching, and I had to laugh at the time hearing it. People were asking him, why do you not have stuff? Exactly, J3. That is why. Nothing was ever opened, and that's why it was all in one room. It was all in one room. I've lost my train of thought now. What was I about to say? Oh, yes, their belongings. Somebody did question them where all their furniture was from the old place. Now, up until now, he's been claiming that it was all damaged. The American fridge freezer that they left behind doesn't work. The sofas were broken. The bed was broken. That's been his main thing. Right now, today, that changed. Today, he's claimed. Okay. Today, he's claimed that the furniture couldn't be taken because he was only given half an hour by the landlord to collect their belongings, and that it was because the police had allowed them to do it. And it's the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. They were given 2 weeks, 14 days to pack all their stuff up, get a van or whatever, and come and get it all collected. They turned up without prior arrangement with the landlord, as they're supposed to do, the day after, whilst Dean was there inspecting the property, and started getting all mouthy and threatening to smash windows. So the landlord actually called the police. The police agreed to stay with them while they collected their stuff, because rightly so, the landlord would not allow him to have them in the property unattended because they would damage the place. So the police offered to watch them while they got those bits. Now, they still had 2 weeks to come back and get the rest of their belongings. They didn't. They grabbed what they could, they left, and they left the rest of it there to be disposed of. So they're saying I'll lose my account soon. That doesn't surprise me. They reckon they've mass reported me, but I've got a backup account. You can see it on the screen in front of you. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Although I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not harassing. All I'm doing is raising awareness. So, there's nothing there nasty and horrible. I'm just putting clips of their life. So let them try. Is there anybody that wants to come in the box and talk? Thanks, Privy. I'm sure they would. Yeah, he is losing his pride awareness. He is. It's lovely. It's lovely that I've managed to get enough supporters that I can go live. I'm aware that you're a silent person awareness, not a problem at all. I would put it on so people can just sort of jump in the box, but I don't know how to open up the box on there. As you all probably know, this is my first time going live, so I am very new with all this sort of thing. Hopefully, I'll get the hang of it one day, and we can get somewhere, and I can work out how to do it. But at the moment, I have no idea. So you're just gonna have to listen to me talk, unless somebody can actually say to me, who can press multi-guest? What, the people who want to come in the box, Sharon? Yes, J3, he was saying that. No, we can't get any. Thanks, Barbara. We can't get any white goods and things like that because we've got nowhere to store them. And then they found that he's got beds and he had a fridge freezer and things like that on his wish list. And they were like, but where are you going to store the new stuff? He had no excuse for it. they have a charity supply beds. Well, then they've got beds on their wish list. So there you go. They're doubling up again. This is what they do. This is what they do. In fact, what I will do, I'm going to carry on playing just a little bit more of this one for you to hear.
By the way, $24.99 a month. You know, so she's still doing it now. She's got a fridge, freezer. So obviously, do you know you bought the freezer? She already had one. She didn't tell me until the day it was coming that apparently you bought us another freezer. So she already had one. And then about a month ago or so, she went and bought a American fridge freezer on Facebook. And she's filled it. It's all filled. Cupboards are filled. Fridge freezer's all filled. Yeah, so she's still doing it. And, you know, yeah, I know we have needed help. Generally, we have needed help. We haven't had food and things like that. You know, and we have had to limit what we can have so that the kids can have food. But the fact that she's been doing it and she's still doing it, and, you know, it puts me in an uncomfortable position because I don't know what I can do. You know, I'm kind of just like, okay, well, what can I do? You know, I'm not the one that sat on the lives. You know, what can I do? I'm doing my own.
He's not the one sat on the lives. Who's live right now with a little beggy box? Jareth is. Oh, is he talking about the electrics again? Of course he is. Of course he is. Let's just carry on again, just for a second.
I'm on the PC doing my own thing. You know, there's nothing I can do. I can't tell her no, she can't do it. And she makes out that I've been telling her this, that, and the other, and actually, no. I let her get on with it, you know. She's making me out that I'm controlling and I'm coercive. No, I'm not at all. You know, guess we've had our arguments, and I've told her, like, she's taking the piss out of, like, me and stuff, but she's making it out to be a lot worse than it is. So I'm being dragged through the dirt now because of it. It depends on what you want to know, because there's a lot I know. If there's any questions or anything you want to ask, please do ask, because I'm a little bit stuck on, like, if you know what you want to ask, I'm quite happy.
So he was quite happy to spill the beans. Oh, I'm aware they've been speaking about me. I've actually just been sent a little clip. Oh, I don't know what that is in the background. Hang on a mo, guys. Let's just see.
Deserve to get paid for our work. Don't worry, I'll make you.
Oh, hang on. I have just been sent a video, so if you just bear with me 1 second, guys. I've got someone else making a racket here in the background. Right, let's shut that up. We can all watch it together, can't we?
Just small little bits on the wish list. That's all it is. It's just like things like cups and plates and, you know, bowls and things like that. Chicken chow mein and salt and oh, you're gonna feel that then. Oh, Sergeant, guess what? I've got some news for you. Both of them have made new accounts. I found both of them. Wendy Woo is now Wendy Woo 2, and the clean area is now Raise Awareness 3. Found both of their accounts. Doing a bit of snooping around, and to be fair, TikTok was the one that found them for me, because it kind of was like, hey, you might know these people. So I found both of their accounts. I think Wendy Woo 1 is on the verge of being closed, and I know the Raise Awareness 2, I'm waiting for 16 violation returns, so if that comes back, that'll get banned too. So yeah, been a busy bee, me. Yeah, literally TikTok was like, do you know Wendy Woo 2? And I was like, what do you mean Wendy Woo 2? Looked on it and it was literally a new account. So I found it. So I've just got to wait for the 16 violations to come back on the Raise Awareness page. If that comes back, that account's blocked as well. Well, I think I need 6. I need 6 of the 16 to come back as violations, and that account gets blocked.
Wow, it's nice to know. Isn't it nice to know that I'm causing him such stress, apparently? Thank you, Awareness. That's much appreciated. But as I say, yes, I've got the backup account. It's private at the moment. He can't see anything that's on my account unless I add him. And I'm being very careful at the moment who I am adding to my backup account. Plus, there is also a third one that he's not going to find for the moment because it's hidden. So, yes, Jareth, I've got others. I'm well aware you're listening. I've got more. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, there is always loads in his live questioning him, Sharon. That's what I don't get. How he can sit there and just be so blasé with the amount of trolling that he gets and people pulling him on it. And yet he just sits there. I'd be mortified to be caught out in all them lies. I would be absolutely mortified. Sounds like my house is falling down. Excuse me, guys. No, they've got no shame. I have no idea how many he's got in. That was a clip that was sent to me. I mean, I could go on it, but I don't fancy sitting here recording him recording himself. That's just pathetic. But talking about taking the roof off Firewise. Is he Awareness? Now that's funny. Now this fire, oh dear God. There weren't even any flames. There was a supposed electrical fault, which it took 3 call outs of the fire brigade before they could even find it, right? And they only found charred wires after they'd returned the 3rd time, and Wendy had fiddled with the light fitting and undone it. So 3 times they were there. The first 2 that they couldn't smell anything, they couldn't see anything. They checked all the wiring, everything in the flat, and said there was nothing going on there. So I'm still very skeptical as to whether they didn't do that themselves. I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they did because I wasn't there. But yeah, I'm sorry. There was blackened wires and the tiniest amount of charring on the wood. There were no flames. There was no fire. The electrics most certainly were not condemned. They were not condemned. They turned off, obviously, that light fitting. And the tenants contacted the landlord, and he sent out an electrician first thing in the morning. And they refused to let the electrician in. They wouldn't do it. They said, no, he's not coming in. We're not having anybody in the property. We've been told by social services not to. And then they called the council saying that their electrics had to be turned off because of it. And the council evacuated them. They believed them. Rather than contacting the landlord to find out what was going on first, because he would have told them that, you know, he'd sent an electrician out ready to fix it and everything else, and they wouldn't allow him in, and the council wouldn't have done it. They would not have done it had the council seen. I mean, once we've had access to that flat, me to clean it, and the landlord to obviously go in and look at everything, he had an electrician in, and it was all done in an hour. Everything was done, fixed, sorted. So, you know, if the electrics had been condemned, it would have been a huge, huge job. To be fair, the council would have had to have contacted the landlord if they condemned the electrics. Nobody contacted the landlord but the tenants. That is literally it. So if anybody condemned the electrics, he would have been given paperwork for that. Do you know what I mean? So they do sprout rubbish. Anything they think that they can get money for, or a sob story, they will use. Awareness, you're too funny. Yeah, they're watching. They're always watching. They're always watching. One thing I am going to say, though, he does keep going on about, the landlord, what he has to do for the property and what the leaseholder has to do, and that the landlord's refusing to pay. Well, he's wrong on a lot of things he said, supposedly speaking to other people that own the flats there. So I actually spoke with the landlord today, and there is actually... Oh, are you? Okay, sorry, awareness. There is actually a landlord's meeting coming up with the leaseholder, and he's actually said that if I want to, I can go along. Can actually sit there in the meeting myself, so I can see what's happening.